So probably the most important tip is the pellets. There's a lot of the pellets out there right now that are using binders or other additives to help the pellets keep their form better. Now, you definitely don't want this junk in your meat or your residue going on in your cook. So a high quality brand of pellet is super important. At the time of making this video, I know that Pit Boss doesn't compromise their quality. Before you start any long cook, always make sure that you've got your pellet hopper full. There's lots of pellets in there. Last thing you want is a 4 or 5 hour cook going south on you because you forgot to fill the hopper. Now, if you're unsure of which brand or what kind of wood to get, I've had really good success with the Pit Boss Competition Blend. It's the only one I use actually right now. About the only other pellet that I've had really good success with that I wish I could swap out and change pellets on the fly is to the applewood. Any kind of pork with the applewood, it's so good. Don't forget to shop around either. These pellets frequently go on sale and you can save yourself a ton of money by looking around a little bit. They range anywhere from price from 10 bucks a bag for a 40 pounder to I think the highest I've seen is 45. Use a cover. It's going to keep your pellets dry. It's also going to keep the moisture out of your burn pot. It's going to keep moisture out of your grill, and you're going to get more even temperatures on your barbecue. Not to mention, your barbecue is probably going to last a whole heck of a lot longer. I recommend going with the manufacturer's grill cover. The one that I've got here has lasted me for a number of years and it doesn't leak anywhere. If you're having trouble maintaining the temperature inside your barbecue, or if it's coming up to temp really slow, chances are your burn pot is probably dirty. It's real easy to take these things apart and clean them. The best way I found to do this is just grab a shop vac and stuff it right into the bottom of the burn pot and also on the bottom of the barbecue, and you can clean it right up in a couple minutes. This doesn't have to happen very often. I think we do ours 2 times a year, and you'll know when it's time to clean it. When your temperatures are having trouble getting to the higher temps past 400 degrees, that's usually where you'll notice it. Following the proper shutdown is super important as well. That's going to help you keep that burn pot super clean. Shutdown procedure for the Pit Boss is crank it on high, run it like that for 10 to 15, then open up the lid and let it cool off when you turn it off. Don't worry about the fan running for a while after you shut it off. That's completely normal. You'll also want to make sure you know how to use the P setting if you're using a Pit Boss. I'm sure all the other manufacturers kind of have their own gig as well. With the Pit Boss, a lower P setting will get you higher temperatures. With the Pit Boss here, I've included the table. You can see it on the side. This is going to help you maintain the inside temperature of the barbecue so that you want your meat in the safe zone, especially if you're doing a long smoke. Pit Boss is super quick and easy to change. You're just going to need a ballpoint pen, and once the barbecue is running, you can change that P setting. If you do change that setting, make sure you give it about 30 minutes before you make any drastic changes, and go either up or down by just one step and give it some time to restabilize. If you're cooking something that's super susceptible to burning, use the top rack, or something that's super susceptible to drying out. The convection in these things does an amazing job. You do not have to babysit these things. The top rack of mine is easy big enough I can throw a cookie sheet of garlic bread or garlic cheese bread up there. When I'm doing burgers, or if I want fresh buns, they can go up there as well. There's lots of room. Do yourself a favor, get a pizza stone. Pizza on the pellet grill is amazing and it cooks really, really well. It's much more like a pizza joint kind of a pizza crust that you'll get versus cooking it inside. A great general rule of thumb is if you want more smoke flavor, cook it slower. Use the smoke setting. Cook it at 200 degrees. I absolutely love the pull away from ribs that you get off of this thing, and I'll cook them frequently between 8 to 10 hours. Now, if you're switching from a gas or you're newly switched over from a different kind of barbecue, foods will definitely look different when cooked on your pellet grill. They cook more evenly, more thoroughly through, and sometimes you'll think it's not quite done and you might already be overcooking it. It doesn't hurt when you're getting used to this thing to invest in a meat thermometer. They're cheap, you can get them on Amazon. I'll leave a link to one here that gets good reviews down below, and it also has Bluetooth that'll hook it up to your phone. The first time you use this thing, you want to make sure you run through the burn off process. Any oils or leftover paint residue, that kind of stuff that's left in the barbecue, you'll want to burn it off. I think mine is like 45 minutes or something like that is what they recommended. It's been too many years ago, I can't remember, but there was definitely a lot of smoking off gassing kind of junk you don't want in your meat. Most will involve just running the barbecue on like a high setting for 45 minutes to an hour. Now I'm sure there's a bunch of other people out there that have a whole ton more barbecue experience than I do. I'm just trying to share what I've learned already. If you've got a tip that I missed that you think is important to pellet grilling, leave it in the comments down below and share it with the other viewers.